These are Marty McFly's trail shoes. So these are the Salomon WildCross. There's 3 different shoes in this range as far as I can see. These are the Gore-Tex version, the WildCross GTX. They retail for £150 in the UK. So the other 2 shoes in the range are the non-Gore-Tex version of these that look just the same as these, but they're a bit cheaper, £30 cheaper, £120 for the WildCross. And then there is the Cross/Pro, ostensibly the same sort of shoe with some more interesting materials. Still £150, but without the Gore-Tex. Irrespective of the 3 different WildCross shoes in this kind of range, they are all quoted as being 290 grams by Salomon. This version, this waterproof version, presumably the Gore-Tex layer on the inside is not in addition to the other shoes. It's a replacement layer. It doesn't add weight to the shoe. So you're free to choose a Gore-Tex shoe with the benefits that may bring without the downsides. So there's a fairly commonly held view with trail shoes that they shouldn't be waterproof. You should let the water in so that it can get out again quickly. Effectively, a waterproof shoe may fill up and then drain very slowly or dry out very slowly. I tend to subscribe to that view most of the time, but I did have the option of testing either of these. I was really interested to try the Gore-Tex shoe because well, that isn't true for everybody all the time. Some people really like Gore-Tex shoes, so I wanted to try them and put them through their paces. It is really nice sometimes to go for a run if you know you're not going to be going through deep bog and you're just going to be hitting dewy grass. It's pretty nice to have dry feet, keep your feet dry, especially as we move into the winter months. If you could sort of guarantee that you would keep your feet dry, that would be a benefit. The WildCross come in 3 different colourways. This is the olive greeny one. There's a navy and a sort of stealthy black version as well. It's a 8mm drop shoe, which falls into that kind of mid category in terms of drop. The weight for a Gore-Tex shoe, for a waterproof shoe, 290 grams is good. It's actually in my UK size 11, 360 grams, just under. That's pretty good. It's not a super light shoe, but it's not crazy heavy. There is a DWR water repellent coating on the fabric. It's a big ask to maintain that and to bead water. Unlike a jacket, you're constantly hitting it with grass, and I think that just pushes through that coating. So you then rely on the actual Gore-Tex to do its job, which is on the inside of the shoe. I didn't find that the shoe gained much weight once it soaked through and the Gore-Tex started doing its job, and they certainly worked. I never got any moisture in the shoe. The fit on these shoes and the non-Gore-Tex versions is described by Salomon as being standard. The Cross/Pro version of the shoe is a narrower fit, although the outer looks the same. I think there's just less volume, maybe a little bit less width in the upper. The midsole, I would say, is medium. It's comfortable, but it's not too soft. Energy sapping. You can give a good turn of speed. It's firm enough to be responsive, so that's sort of Goldilocks. And I think that's the story of the whole shoe, really. We've got a sort of medium weight and the inherent sort of longevity that should bring. It's well built. We've got medium drop of 8mm, medium levels of comfort. The grip is probably medium to good, to beyond that, really. It's not quite like a fell shoe lug, but it's really grippy in lots of conditions. I didn't struggle for grip, and it gives good levels of confidence. You're not thinking about whether you're going to plant your foot and slide. It just does its job. The outsole on the WildCross seems quite UK focused to me. The compound called Contra Grip is just a single compound, but the design of the lugs is smart. On the directional tri-shaped lugs, as you can see, which means that they work in different directions, so there's no
bias to them working better for acceleration or deceleration. Just means you've got that general predictable grip in all situations. They're also quite big grips, sort of around 6mm, big lugs. And the other thing to note is that they're well spaced out, which means good clearance of mud. So they should clear well and maintain that grip.
The upper is comfortable. It's not controversial. It's like the whole shoe really. There's nothing controversial. I guess this outer cage is an interesting part of the design. Salomon's lacing is always good, and that just cinches up the midfoot. The shape of that upper has this sort of ergonomic shape to it that helps hug your foot. So for a shoe like this to be waterproof, the Gore-Tex membrane has to be like a sock. In this case, it goes over the tongue, so you can see the membrane as one piece, and then the tongue is a separate loose tongue underneath, and that's centered and held together by the lacing system. The upper also has this overlay around the toe, like a rand bumper. Kind of reminds me of the Nike Wild Horse, that sort of textured, fairly tough overlay, but that seems to do a good job. So to conclude, a shoe with fairly high levels of grip and confidence inspiring sort of handling, but medium comfort, medium width. So I think for a lot of people this will be a trusty performer that will perform on loads of different trails. Not perfect on road sections, but fine, good on gravel and light trails, and grippy enough to work in some sort of light fell mountain environments as well. So good all-rounder. So on my scale, scores on the doors, peak pretender, peak possible, peak proof, and peak perfection. I mean, it's a solid peak proof, and I'm reaching for this shoe again and again, using it for hiking, walking, running in the fells a bit. It's just not letting me down. I haven't yet experienced it being dunked and filled up with water, which obviously can cause issues with waterproof shoes, that then you're carrying a lot of weight with you. But for what I've been using it for, top job.
Oh yeah, Marty McFly's trail shoes. What are you even on about? Okay, so they're not exactly self-lacing, but check it. The quick lace system is kind of routed through the tongue. So as you pull on it, wherever the tongue is, even if it's halfway down the shoe, it pulls the tongue up, centers it, and then you just shove it in the little pocket. So it's not much like Marty McFly's trail shoe. But yeah, you know.